Hello, and welcome back. My name's Ian.
I'm Steve.
We are doing the Downbelow RPG, a diceless narrative system in a cyberpunk dystopian world, and if you've been watching us, you know we're designing an adventure about soda.
Today we're going to talk about the first big reveal. It's the first big reveal because it closes out the part that is specifically about soda and opens up the greater conspiracy theory beyond.
Mm-hmm.
So, we've talked about how the PCs can be hooked in. We talked a little bit about connective tissue that can basically help analyze. I'm going to revisit the connective tissue for just a couple of moments. At no point during the connective tissue should the players be without a possibility of threat. If the players are just poking around and observing things, there's no urgency. They should be pressured one way or another, either by the threat that they themselves are going to flip out and become enraged at the provocation again, the threat that something's going to happen to our loved ones, or possibly just the threat of shadowy goons that are dogging their footsteps.
Or if they're professionally involved in this, threat from their superiors for not getting the job done.
The short version is there should definitely be tension involved. We have neglected to mention that, so I figured I'd take about a minute out of my time and talk briefly about that. So, the first big reveal is, like I said, the closeout of the soda mystery and the opening of the greater mystery behind it.
Quick question.
Yes.
We've already told GMs what the truth is.
Right.
So, what we want to do is, Steve, how do we communicate that truth to the players in a way that is impactful and works for the story?
The event that probably cements this is that people who are habitual consumers of the soda in question, people who are basically people who are at risk, people who have demonstrated they're affected, they're aberrations, they're failures of the clinical trial, and biodynamics is cleaning up.
Mm-hmm.
If the players have already determined through the series of cutouts that biodynamics is behind it, good for them. That's not information that was explicitly revealed at any point, but it's the information that the GM has, and so they could theoretically trace it all the way back there. At this point, it's not so much a reveal for those players as a holy crap, they're serious for those players, because they're not just trying to clean up their mistakes and keep PR down. They're also trying to figure out what went wrong, and what this basically boils down to is the people who are affected, which could conceivably be every single person who has consumed this batch of soda from this particular bottling, is being rounded up and taken off to study.
And remember that that this could theoretically include the PCs.
So there are many different ways this reveal could play out. This could play out with a scene of unmarked trucks and uniformed or protective geared personnel herding the homeless into a truck to be carted off. This could be the absolutely gut-wrenching scene of school children being escorted into a van or possibly lured into a van. If that does not make people worried, I'm really not sure what would. This could be people breaking down doors or hijacking taxicabs to take people who have been identified as consumers of this batch to be studied. And again, this could in fact include the PCs being taken away.
Or we'd like to follow up with the patient from last week. Well,
they disappeared.
They're no longer in circulation. What do you mean? Well, we haven't heard back from them.
So how does this relate back to biodynamics? Because they are canny, they are going to disguise their actions. However, when they get to the facility, when the patients are securely under observation, the doctors get sloppy. They don't necessarily get sloppy around the patients, but they get sloppy behind the scenes. They get sloppy behind the one-way glass. They get sloppy in the computers they use, the accounts they log into, etc. Once the players have either tracked them down to the facilities where the testing is going on, which are not directly owned and operated by biodynamics, but there again, property records can get sloppy, so you can trace that through shell companies
so
to
way one,
biodynamics.
The players might have already figured it out if they're really canny, like we mentioned. Way two, once they're on site, they can find lots of clues on site.
Exactly. Way 3, if they're on site and not able, out of successes, not able to do anything but fail forward, the doctors can get sloppy because the PCs are well and truly stuck.
Basically, failing forward in this scenario would mean the players are captured, but they overhear something.
Right. At this state, like I said, this is the big reveal. This is the close of the soda adventure because we find out who done it. Biodynamics or shell company of your choice put the chemicals in the soda that are making people crazy. You could close it at this point with the PCs going to blow the whistle, or you could go further and try to figure out what's behind that. And that's actually something we're going to start talking about after we deal with the mechanics in the next adventure, the next video, because there is more behind it. So we're going to get to the connective tissue in 2 videos, and we're going to talk about mechanics for this one in, well, for us it's just going to be a few minutes, and for you, we'll see you tomorrow.
Yep. One last note before we see you tomorrow is that larger conspiracy we mentioned, it's not always biodynamics kidnapping people, although we did get there again. Last adventure and this one.